Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we will discuss about elementary signals. This lecture is in continuation with basics of signals. We have discussed in our previous lectures definition of signal, types of signals, different classification of signals. So this is the next one, which is on elementary signals. So as we know about the signal is always an entity or a function that carries or that conveys some meaningful information about some phenomenon or an event. As we can see, we have EEG signal, and these signals are actually brain waves, beta, alpha, theta, and delta. And these waves carry the meaningful information about brain. The different states of brain are represented by different brain signals. So a speech signal, EEG signal, brain imaging, and other signals are examples of signals which carry some useful or meaningful information. Signals are also functions of independent variables that carry information, like electrical signals, which include voltages and currents in a circuit. Current flowing in a circuit or voltage across certain element in the circuit is, as per independent variable, it will be always conveying some meaningful information. Acoustic signals, that will be related to audio or speech signals. Video signals, which are actually moving images and which represent intensity variations in an image. So moving images, moving pictures. And in these, independent variable can be continuous, discrete, or one dimension, two dimension, or three dimension variable. So the function which conveys some meaningful information, that may be with respect to a continuous independent variable or a discrete independent variable or 1D, 2D, or three-dimensional independent variable. So what is continuous signal? We know that most of the signals in the physical world, that is natural signals, are mostly continuous signals. So in continuous signal, what is the most important characteristic? There is a continuity, no discontinuity is found. For example, voltage and current, pressure, temperature, velocity. So all the signals in the physical world present in the natural form are examples of continuous signal. Just opposite, discrete time signal. The signal is non-continuous. See here, this is continuous and this is non-continuous. So signal is non-continuous. Example includes DNA-based sequence, population of nth generation of certain species, because it will always have the discrete value. So the discrete value or discrete time signal will have a discrete values or the samples at discontinuous locations. So the classification of signals, which we are discussing in a number of lectures, we have been discussing, it includes continuous time and discrete time signals, even and odd signals, periodic and non-periodic signals, deterministic and random signals, and then elementary signals. We know that continuous in nature, discrete, non-continuous in nature, even and odd. We know that with respect to origin, if the signal is symmetrical in both the sides, it is even, otherwise symmetrical but opposite in both the sides, means the magnitude is positive and negative. So then the signal is odd. Periodic, which always repeats after certain interval, and which does not repeat, is non-periodic. Deterministic, where the presence or the location of the signal can be ascertained, whereas when the signal cannot be determined, or its location or position cannot be ascertained, we can call the signals as random signals. The next one is elementary signals, which this lecture are about. Elementary signals are the basic building blocks, basic signals used in signal processing. That includes exponential signals, sinusoidal signals, step signal, rectangular signal or rectangular pulse, impulse signal, derivatives of impulse, and ramp signal. So let's discuss one by one. Exponential signal. Look at here, there are two types of exponential signal. We can see here and that is one is exponentially decreasing, another is exponentially increasing. So when you see exponentially decaying, if we write xt equal to b into e to the power at, when a is negative, the signal is obviously exponentially decaying. In the same signal, when we make a is greater than 0, means this small a is positive value, so the signal will become exponentially rising. So both are examples of exponential signal. What is important is signal is varying exponentially by changing the independent variable time here. Next, this is another type of signal. We can say exponential and sinusoidal, both are combined. So we are writing a, capital A, e to the power minus at sine omega t plus phi, and where a or alpha, whatever, is greater than 0. So if it is greater than 0 here, so this will be negative. If we write alpha is less than 0, this become positive. So this will start increasing. But in this case, since alpha is positive value and this negative sign is there, so it will exponentially decay. So it's basically sinusoidal signal. Look at here. It's the plot of sinusoidal signal sine omega t, plus there is some phase difference. But what is important is sinusoidal signal is exponentially decaying, and the amount of decay is being determined by the value alpha. And the way it is increasing or decreasing, or the way it will increase or decrease, that will be determined by the value of alpha, means the polarity of alpha. If the alpha is positive here, it is decreasing exponentially. If we change alpha as negative here, the same signal will remain sinusoidal signal, but it will increase exponentially. Now, unit step signal. We know that unit is the term which represents the magnitude as 1, unity. Otherwise, it is basically the step signal. So how do we define step signal? Step signal is a signal where there is abrupt change in the value. You see here the minimum value, and at t equals 0, suddenly it goes to certain high value, and therefore the name is a step. So when you go to a staircase, either down or up, you always have the abrupt change either going up or going down. So there is abrupt change in the levels. Therefore, this is looking like a step. We call it a step signal. The magnitude is 1. We call it as unity step signal. So how can we represent it mathematically? We can represent it mathematically as ut equals 1 for t is greater than 0, ut equals 0 for t is less than 0. We can also write t is greater than or equals 0, because even at origin, the magnitude of the signal is 1. And a number of operations can be performed over the unity step signal. It can be delayed in positive direction or negative direction. It can be shifted by frequency. It can be shifted in terms of time and so on. It can be magnified. It can be, the magnitude can be increased. The magnitude can be decreased. If we multiply some capital K into ut, the magnitude will no longer remain 1. It will become K. So you can magnify as well. But here you see the signal is ut minus a. So obviously there is a delay. There is a delay, time delay of the signal, and how much delay it is there. The amount of delay which is delaying the signal is by small a. You see here. So the same signal is beginning from a. Why it is beginning from a? Because your time domain, your time is delayed by a. So the same signal can be written as the ut minus a can be written as 1 for t equals or greater than, that is equals or greater than a. Same signal can be written as 0 when t is less than 1, t is less than a. So depending on the value of a, the position will change. What is important here, the same unit step signal is delayed by some positive value. If it is delayed by negative value, this will start from, this would have started from negative direction, obviously. So step signal, step function, this is same as step function. It is defined the same representation. There are some examples you see here. There is a circuit, electrical circuit, where we are providing some DC voltage. So this voltage, when you switch the close, when you close the switch, then the certain amount of DC voltage will be subjected to circuit. Whenever we open the circuit, that voltage will not be, provided to the circuit. So there is sudden change in the DC voltage. So therefore, this is called as step signal. See here, the step voltage is connected. So whenever voltage is connected, this capacitor will charge. Otherwise, capacitor will not charge. And then current will flow in the circuit. So there may be hundreds of different examples where there is sudden application of certain signal to the circuit or to a system or in an application. So whenever the signal changes abruptly, either abruptly low or abruptly high, that is called as step signal. Rectangular signal, this is also called as pulse signal. You see here, this is looking like a pulse. How can we generate? Very easily. Can we generate the same signal by using two-step signal? Of course, you see here. Suppose there is a step signal which is beginning from minus 0.5. The magnitude is A. Let's begin another signal from 0.5 with same magnitude. You see here. And when we subtract this signal, that is x1t from x2t, obviously this particular portion starting from 0.5 will be subtracted, nullified, and we'll get a signal as a pulse standing from minus 0.5 to 0.5. So how can we represent it mathematically? The signal magnitude is A, that is between t, and the value of t is from minus 0.5 to 0.5. That is minus 0.5 to plus 0.5. So this is looking like a rectangular pulse. We call it as a rectangular signal or rectangular pulse. Next one is impulse signal. You see here, impulse signal is actually centered at almost origin, and the magnitude is 1. So amplitude may even go to infinity. If we write 1, then it becomes unit impulse. Otherwise, the magnitude is very high, but the signal is centered at origin. So how can we write minus infinity to infinity? When we integrate, we will get this integration as 1, and the signal can be written as del t equals 0 when t is not equal to 0. It means when t equals 0, the signal is present. When t is not equal to 0, the signal is 0. You see here different representations. And finally, in the plot A, the signal is centered towards origin. And whenever we plot, whenever we calculate the area of the pulse, it must give 1. And that kind of signal is called as impulse signal. You see here, this is strength 1, and this is also an equivalent impulse signal. We can also take the derivative of impulse signal. Suppose we take the derivative. This is a pulse, and when we make this del t, tending to 0, this becomes the signal like this. Similarly, the next signal is ramp signal, which is written as xt equal to rt. Ramp means slope, and when we write the value of slope as 1, it becomes unit slope, and the slope of this signal will become 1. So there is a slope. The signal is called as ramp signal. Look at here. How can we express mathematically? The signal is equal to t when t is greater than or equals 0, and it is 0 when t is less than 0. It means for all positive values of t, the signal is t. What does it mean? When t equals 0, the signal is 0. T equal to 1, signal is 1. T equal to 2, the magnitude is 2. And therefore, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, the slope, that is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, will become 1. And therefore, this particular signal is called as unit slope or unit ramp signal. You can see when we obtain derivative of ramp signal, we will get a unit step signal. Say when we differentiate t, it becomes 1 for t is greater than or equals 0. What we have learnt about, when the signal is 1 for t is greater than or equals 0, the signal is called as step signal. Just now we have studied. It means when we obtain the derivative of ramp signal, we will get a step signal. When we differentiate unit ramp signal, we will get unit step signal. And similarly, How can we obtain in a reciprocal manner the signal from unit step? We can integrate unit step signal, and after integrating the unit step signal, we can also obtain the signal called as ramp signal. Now, is there any relationship that can exist between these signals? Yes, there is a ramp signal. Let's take derivative, we will get unit step. If it further differentiate it, we will get impulse signal. All right. So similarly, when we differentiate, we start from ramp, we go to unit step, then we reach to unit impulse. And when we integrate in reverse manner, unit impulse signal is integrated, we'll get unit step. We further integrate unit step, we'll get unit ramp signal. So this diagram represents relationship among all these signals, that basic signals called as step signal, ramp signal, and unit impulse signal. Now, generally what happens in signal processing, in signal analysis, the signal is decomposed for, further analyzing the signal and applying the signal in different systems. So can we decompose this signal? If the signal is there, can we decompose this signal in terms of elementary signals? Of course, you see here, there is a constant magnitude at t equals 0, you see here. So from beginning, a unit step signal can begin, but at that particular point only, there is a negative slope. So what we can do that, if we make a negative slope, this particular unit step will bend. So how much negative slope is required to be given? That is minus RT. And you see here, the moment we reach at this particular point, the signal is ending. So how can we do? We need to provide some positive slope, same amount of positive slope, so that the signal will end. And look at here, unit step signal, a negative slope, again, a same magnitude positive slope, but now the positive slope is starting from 1. So the signal is delayed by 1. So we are representing it as RT minus 1. So how can we write this signal FT as? FT can be expressed as UT minus RT plus RT minus 1. See here, UT minus RT plus RT minus 1. And this is how the signal can be decomposed. Now, after discussing the elementary signals, we can also know here that what are the basic operations which can be performed over these signals. There are a number of operations on dependent as well as independent variables. Like on dependent variables, amplitude scaling means the signal which is on x-axis, y-axis. So amplitude scaling, addition, multiplication, differentiation, we can do. The operations which can be performed on independent variable, like delaying, we have seen. Delaying, reflection, scaling, time shifting, all these operations can be performed over time domain. Whereas the y-axis, which is actually the magnitude of signal, which is dependent variable, right? And there are operations which can also be performed on dependent variable. For example, time scaling. See here, when there is a signal x, yt equals x of at. Now we don't know what is the value of a, but we can understand when a is greater than 1 or a is less than 1. If it is a is greater than 1, what will happen? 2t, 3t, 4t. So obviously you see here, when we write the signal xt, it means a equals 1. So suppose this signal is given as a signal of magnitude 1 in a triangular structure extending from -1 to 1. Now when we make this signal as x2t, so what will happen? Now 2t is in place of -1 and +1. So correspondingly, new time variable will become 2t1 in place of, at, we can write 2t1. So t1 is extending from -1/2 to 1/2. Look at here, -1/2 to 1/2. Remember, dependent variable is not changing. What is changing here? Independent variable. So can you see here, important, observation can you make here? The signal is compressed. And how it is compressing? When the magnitude of this a is 2, which is greater than 1. And when the signal, that is the this constant a is between 0 and 1, means less than 1, look at here what will happen. Let's take a equals 1/2. So it becomes 1/2t. So 1/2t in place of -1 and 1. So correspondingly, new time values will become -2 and 1. See here, -2 and 2, -2 and 2. But again, we are not changing the dependent variable. So what is happening? The signal is same, but there is an expansion. So remember, when this small a is less than 1, expansion is taking place. When it is greater than 1, the signal is compressed. So this is an interesting application of time scaling operation that is affecting or impacting the time domain, that is independent variable. See another one, reflection. You see here, there is a signal extending from -T1 to T2. What do we mean by reflection? When we see your image on the mirror, you get the reflected image. And what happens? Your side changes. Look at here. -T means T2 becomes this side and your T1 goes to this side. So this side, this particular part, look at here. There is a little shadow part. This is going in right direction. And this place, which is the plane part, is going in the negative direction. So there is a change in the direction. So there is a reflection, and the reflection is taking place again on independent variable. So how can we write? In place of xt, we are writing -x of -t. Time delaying, we have discussed time shifting or time delaying. Look at here, -1/2, 1/2. When we write in place of t, t -2, suppose it is t1. So t1 -2 equals -half, t1 -2 equals +half. So what will be the new values of t1? It will be 2 plus -1/2 and 2 plus 1/2, which is 3/2 to 5/2. So what is happening? Same signal, magnitude of having magnitude 1, but there is a delay and the signal is beginning from 3/2 and still the duration is same. What is the amount of duration? That is -1/2 to 1/2. T equals 1 minute or 1 second. Similarly, here also the duration is same. Now, the same delay and scaling both can be performed together. Look at here, xt. Can we write 2t plus 3? Look at here, scaling is there as well as delaying is there. So similarly, if we write 2t plus 3, we can make it as -1 equals -1 or +1, and we can obtain the new value. Say from this signal, we want xt plus 3, means t plus 3 equals -1. So new value of t will be your -4. T plus 3 is +1. T will become -2. Look at here, same signal, -4 to -2. Now, if we write yt equals v2t, what is vt? This one. If we write 2t, means your 2t is v2t is equal to x of 2t plus 6. So 2t plus 6 equals this value and this value. So new value of 2, or we can simply say that forget about this particular thing. Vt is this. V2t means 2t in place of -4 and -2. So new time domain values will be -4 divided by 2, that is -2, -2 divided by 2, that is -1. And therefore, the signal is extending from -2 to -1. And since here the constant value is greater than 1, the signal is compressed. Again, the time delaying xt minus t naught, time delaying and time scaling. Look at here. This is scaling and this is delaying. So the same thing we have discussed, xt, we can write xt minus 2. Look at here. There is change in the scaling. There is no change because here 1t. So there is no change in the scaling, but there is a delay. Delay by how much unit? 2. So -1/2 plus 2 is 3/2 and 1/2 plus 2 is 5/2. So time delay and scaling both are being performed together. The next signal is signum signal. Signum function. How do we define? You see here, it's not a step signal. In the positive side, the signal is 1 for t is greater than 0. Negative side as well, the signal is -1 when t is less than 0. But remember, when t equals 0, the signal is 0. Sometimes we can also write signum function as 2ut minus 1. 2ut minus 1. So this is how we come to the end of this lecture. In this lecture, we have discussed about the elementary signals. There are classification of signals, continuous, discrete, deterministic random signal, even and odd signal, periodic and non-periodic signal, elementary signal. But we have discussed the different elementary signals in this lecture. Elementary signals are the basic building blocks or basic signals used in signal analysis and signal processing and their further applications. So that's all for this lecture. Thank you.